We speak student.
Shakespeare's stage.
To be or not to be.
A la Shmoop. We all know what a modern theater looks like. There's the stage, the curtains, the orchestra pit, the lights, the chandelier hanging above the audience, just waiting for the Phantom of the Opera to do something sinister.
Aha!
Well, in Shakespeare's time, however, it was very different.
Thank heaven for that.
First theaters didn't even have walls. Instead, plays were performed in processions or in circular, grassy areas like this. The actors didn't much care for it.
This sucketh royally.
Not only was there no separation between them and the audience, but rain delays had caused many a production not to make it past opening night. So after years of careful research and analysis, actors ditched the grassy fields of the past for the marketplace. Naturally, this was considered a technological marvel, and the actors charged their audiences accordingly. Plays were performed on scaffolds raised in the marketplace where people could gather around to watch the action. Obviously, this venue was quite noisy, especially as people bought and sold goods all around the stage.
Rat soup. Rat soup for sale.
Actors had to shout to be heard above the babble.
I said I bite my thumb at you!
What?
We've all seen mimes and contortionists and really bad Bob Marley impersonators performing on street corners.
Buffalo shoulder, dreadlock toaster.
We might stop to watch for a few minutes and then move along without putting our spare change in the bucket.
Who am I kidding? They suck.
It was roughly the same thing in Shakespeare's day. So how do you stop people from mooching?
Alms for the poor.
Well, you build a theater where every person who wants to watch the show has to put money in a box as he or she is entering the building. That's Nobel Prize worthy thinking right there.
Yes.
Shakespeare spent most of his career working at a theater called the Globe. Here, there were 3 levels of seating and a pit where people could stand. Audience members paid according to whether they sat or stood to watch the performance. Now, you might think the seats in the very, very back of the Globe Theater would be the cheapest given their distance from the stage.
My nose is bleeding.
This wasn't the case, however. The cheapest seats, which only cost a penny, were in the pit where people stood to watch the show.
Woohoo! Let's start the show.
Just like today's theaters where you can go to watch a ballet or a musical or a symphony performance, open-air theaters like the Globe offered all sorts of entertainment. One of the best-selling gigs of Shakespeare's time was called a bear baiting. No, it didn't involve putting bears on hooks and then using them to fish for mackerel. In bear baiting, a bear, literally a bear, would be chained to a pike and people would bet on how many dogs it would take to kill the bear.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Ye Old PETA frequently showed up to protest.
You people make me sick.
So what do you think? Would you be more likely to attend the theater if there was some good old-fashioned animal violence to keep things interesting?
Not the honey!
Or do you prefer our modern theaters where at least you can contribute to early onset diabetes with a rich offering at the concession stand? Shmoopeth amongst thyself.
This sucketh royally.